Hey guys, and welcome back to my Let's Play of LEGO Star Wars The Complete Saga. Last time we defeated Count Dooku, sort of, but he did get away. So it is now time to venture a few years later into the Clone Wars with Episode 3, Revenge of the Sith. By far my favourite of the prequels and my second favourite Star Wars film after The Empire Strikes Back. Things got a lot darker with this movie. So let us begin with Chapter 1, Battle over Coruscant. The only vehicle level that wasn't changed from LEGO Star Wars 1 at all. The only difference is you have a free play mode. That's it. Other than that, this level is exactly the same, right? Episode 3, Revenge of the Sith. Chapter 1, Battle over Coruscant. The Republic is crumbling under a separatist assault led by Count Dooku and General Grievous. In a stunning move, separatist forces have swept into Coruscant and kidnapped Supreme Chancellor Palpatine. As the droid army attempts to flee with their hostage, Obi-Wan Kenobi and Anakin Skywalker lead a desperate mission to rescue the Chancellor. Oh, if only they knew. If only they knew. I mean, they know that the dark side surrounds the Chancellor. Shouldn't that be enough of a giveaway? Or is it because he's the Chancellor? There's R4. Don't get used to seeing her. Oh no, look, it looks like she's been split in half now. Oh no, there they are. I mean, R4 is there, but we don't actually see her get destroyed. There's no buzz droids here. Right, Battle over Coruscant is exactly the same. Apart from the additional free play mode. You want to destroy these cannons. I'm thinking about this level. This is the only level where you can actually get the all 3 gold bricks in one go. Because you can't, because nothing was changed, you don't need the free play mode. So you can get all 10 mini kits on your first go. I'm not going to do that. Because it would seem weird having this level, just not doing this level. It's just weird and out of place. I'm still annoyed though that I got that one in Gunship Cavalry. That one that was very off screen. You want to be quick here. If you get too close, you won't be able to go far enough to the side. Yeah, your ship will automatically slow down when stuff like this is happening. Right, you want to try and destroy as many of the separatist fighters as you can, whether it's the Vulture droids, or which are suddenly blue, they're not brown like they were in the first level, or whether it's the more triangular things, I don't know what they are. It's very easy to get them though. This is one of my favourite levels actually. I've always loved this level. I just like going nuts here. Just trying to shoot down what I can. It's definitely one of my favourite levels. Usually you'll end up just destroying them when they're right next to you. Yeah, you know, I get that these Republic ships were supposed to be like the predecessors to the Star Destroyers. Firstly, where did they come from? They just suddenly exist at the end of Attack of the Clones. I mean, I guess we never really had a reason to see them, so... Yeah, in that regards, it makes sense. They were also... We never got like an explanation for the change in their shape, though. Like here, you know, they're differently shaped. Like they go inwards on the sides there. We never get an explanation for that change. Yeah, you have to do this 3 times, but it's a bit different every time. Go through this hangar, which is suddenly on fire at one end. It's not really a hangar, I don't know what you call this. That was a Republic ship, we're destroying our own ships. See, that's where I love going nuts. There's our power brick. Just floating out there in the open. And there are your own fighters as well, Republics. The clones are in them. Don't need to worry about shooting them down there, they're invincible. You're not at any risk of shooting down your own ships. The only problem with this level I find was... Not problem. The only part of this level that's really difficult, I find, is the ending portion. This bit right here. There's a lot of stuff going on, and trying to get out of the way of all of this is pretty difficult. Am I actually going to fail at getting the stud total? Wow, I actually destroyed them. How did I do that? Is this going to be a fail? Will I fail? Yes, I am. I've actually failed to get the stud quota. Wow, alright. Free play mode, I'll have to use you then. So our first failed true Jedi. That empty space is bothering me. I don't remember what it is, unless it's like Anakin's unless it's from the extra Anakin's flight level or whatever it was called. I don't know. But it was really annoying when that thing stops at like 98. I really, really hate that. I don't know why I skipped that. Well, it was the only one, so it makes sense. The only other thing that it wasn't going to show us a mini kit. Anyway, we may as well continue on. Vehicle levels are very short in LEGO Star Wars 1. But yeah, no changes to that level whatsoever. It's just that you can now use free play mode. But everything will control exactly the same. Chapter 2. Chancellor in Peril. High above the planet Coruscant, a deadly battle rages between Separatist forces and the army of the Republic. On the Separatist flagship, Count Dooku and General Grievous hold Chancellor Palpatine captive. Crashing their Jedi starfighters into the main hangar, Obi-Wan Kenobi and Anakin Skywalker are surrounded by hostile droid forces. You know, there's no point in constantly trying to say, oh, they made the joke. Wait, what? The force field is back up again. I thought I destroyed that thing. Isn't that like what Obi-Wan just shouted? Like, did you notice the shields are still up? Sorry, Master. I always love that scene, by the way. Just both the way Anakin says that and the way he just like flips over the starfighter and just starts firing. I always love that scene. I do really like the opening to Revenge of the Sith. Not Attack of the Clones. Nothing interesting happens in the opening of Attack of the Clones. Nothing interesting happens until the end of Attack of the Clones, except the stuff on Kamino. That's kind of interesting. Bit too CGI heavy, but it's interesting. So we are now in control of what is simply known as Obi-Wan Kenobi Episode 3. Same model, just with shorter hair. And we have Anakin Skywalker as a Jedi. He's got that scar that he just suddenly had. And his hand is black to showcase the... he has like that robotic hand and he's got the gloves. And why did Grievous... The door's closed, so why did Grievous only then get out his lightsabers? But since I actually watched the Clone Wars before the films... I know, I did these in a weird way, didn't I? Played LEGO Star Wars. Actually, I think first it was a set of top trumps for the first... for the prequels. Somebody just got me those. And I never did get the ones for the original trilogy. I got a set for the Clone Wars, but that's it though. And then it was the Clone Wars. Even though it was the show, not the film. And then eventually it was the actual films, which I did watch in chronological order because I didn't know that it went 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3. So I was quite confused at first. Now, however, I always watch them in order of release. 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, The Clone Wars, The Force Awakens, Rogue One, The Last Jedi, and soon Solo. Which was a good movie. Not the most... You know, it's like the most necessary movie. Neither was Rogue One. You know, it wasn't amazing. It was nothing spectacular, but it was good. And most importantly, I find it didn't take itself seriously. And that I shall applaud because... This isn't just Star Wars. I just think films are getting a bit too moody now. Like everything has to be all dark and serious, even in a franchise where it really shouldn't be. So I'm glad Solo brought things to a more comedic taste, whilst Still having those serious moments. Now again, this is a series about flashy space battles, aliens, and magical people fighting with laser swords. No matter how dark the story is, I'm never going to take it completely seriously. Any scene that has the Emperor, all I'm thinking is, I love doing impressions of the Emperor. They suck, but I like doing impressions of the Emperor. I am most impressed to see you have survived your injuries. You have become a rival! Master Yoda, so you survived. And now, young Skywalker, you will die. Oh, I'm afraid this battle station will be quite operational when your friends arrive. That face he pulls then, though. I do like the Emperor. I just don't see what the problem is with Snoke not having any backstory when his name alone gives him more backstory than the Emperor ever had. Like, we don't even get the Emperor's name. He's just called the Emperor. So why is it such a bad thing if Palpatine had any backstory? Because when I say I like the Emperor, I'm primarily talking about the Clone Wars and the prequels. Revenge of the Sith specifically. Because in Return of the Jedi, he doesn't really do anything. He just sits in that chair, constantly just says, I feel your anger, join the dark side. Whether it strike me or strike your father, join the dark side. That's all he says. It's the same message, just said in a different way every single time. It's like, we get it. Are you actually going to do anything? No, he's not. He's just going to sit in a chair, have all of the action be with Anakin and Vader, which, you know, that makes sense. I get that. There are droids coming. But it's like, we never really get to see the Emperor do anything, and then by the end of it, he just shoots some lightning out of his fingers. And you know what? If we're going to question how Yoda was able to summon lightning in The Last Jedi, I can question how the Emperor can shoot lightning from his hands. Now, someone explain that to me. Okay, that's a Force ability, but how does it work? How does the Force work? Let's ask that question. How does the Force work? Oh, hey, Arsu. We didn't see you set fire to droids. You stupid little astro droid. And then what happens to the Emperor? He fails to know, since people are again will question how Snoke doesn't notice any emotional changes in Kylo Ren despite being right in front of him. Why doesn't the Emperor notice any emotional changes in Darth Vader, who is right next to him? He's even closer. And then he makes no attempt to get out of the way, does he? Vader picks him up, and that's it. He doesn't at all attempt to actually rescue himself. He doesn't wriggle his body. He doesn't use the Force. He doesn't do anything. He just lets Vader, or Anakin, whatever you want to say, just throw him over the edge. And that's it. Oh, I do that every time. Right. Yeah, you have got to be, it is kind of annoying that those droids are right there from the moment you appear. Yeah, I might mention this in like part 1, but if you perform a jump and then jump again the moment you land, that will act as the double jump. Bit weird, but yeah, it's fine. You can even take a little step forwards. And speaking of Palpatine being pointless, this level, we're going to take control of Palpatine shortly, and he is the most pointless character in this entire game because he can't do anything. He can move and he can jump, and that's it. He has no method of attack. He has no special ability. He can't work any computers or anything. Whoops. He doesn't do anything. He is absolutely pointless. You can just control him because he's there. And because I'd played this game before watching the film, I thought it was an old lady, which, let's face it, is what that Lego figure looks like. It looks like an old lady. But anyway, Count Dooku is back. in a much smaller fight than what we had before, but it's the same. Yeah. The whole thing we were doing in the fight beforehand in Attack of the Clones, they changed that up because of the way that the lightning works. Instead, you couldn't catch the lightning anymore. So you had to do it that way instead. He just caught you and then you had to switch characters. Same as what you had to do for Darth Maul. That was the process here though all the time. The only difference we really have here is that he uses the lightning attack. Before it would just be the Force. You know, as we saw with Darth Maul. You didn't give him much time then. You know, I know it's not Christopher Lee, but it's funny to think that Christopher Lee actually does make that big jump that Count Dooku makes it when he jumps down there. It's also kind of weird when you actually hear somebody call a lightsaber a sword. Which he does, like, your swords, please. I know Anakin does it as well. It's like, I saw your laser sword. Like, thank you. Yes, that's exactly what it is. Why are we taking these seriously? But you know, it's weird actually hearing them get called swords, even though that's what they are. Right, I have to be Obi-Wan for this because let's face it, Anakin did everything. I thought he cut off both of his hands. Well, he didn't even hesitate. Why is Emperor Well, he's not the Emperor yet, but why is Palpatine's face already wrinkled? When we saw like Darth Sidious's model at the end of Attack of the Clones, his face is already messed up. Why? Again, you'll go to the detail of giving Anakin a green lightsaber or making the battle droids pink, but a golden 3PO and a non-messed up Emperor, no, you don't go to that detail. Although I did like well, some of like those little Lego Star Wars short films did, and they gave him he like switched his face around. If he was talking to a Sith, if he was talking to someone in the Separatists, he would go into his Darth Sidious face. When he began talking to somebody who was with the Republic, he would have to very quickly spin his head around to become Chancellor Palpatine face. That I thought was good. I actually did really like the Emperor in those. All of the Lego Star Wars like little short films, they are brilliant. I heavily recommend you give them a try, because all of the good characters, they're fine, but it's the Sith Lords and all of the evil characters. Grievous is great. The Emperor, he's like a no-nonsense character who has to deal with a load of nonsense. It's like he's like, why do I have to put up with these idiots? There's a mini kit in there. I've already got one. Now, run! The lift. Wait, aren't we defying gravity here? That's the lift, isn't it? We're sort of running along the wall. Insert speed highways going down thing in here. No, I'm actually going to do that. I'm going to insert speed highways going down. Try and download it. Whee! Oh! Whoops. Oh, that's more boost does. Ah! Why is the ceiling kill? It's a deadly ceiling, don't you know? I'm going to keep restarting the piece of music as well. Because I highly doubt this is going to... Unless this happens to take like 45 seconds, I'm going to keep restarting the music. Now if you want to, for whatever reason, go back and get those studs, you can get the thing to move again, but it's pointless. And the level is still shaking here, even though the lift stops. And what's also weird is that if you activate that panel and send the lift back up and then you go back through that wall, even if you followed it all the way up, the lift is right back at the top again. If you go through into this area and then go back into the previous area, the lift will now suddenly be back in its original place again. Well, back at the beginning again, or at the end. You know, it will start moving upwards again. That's what I'm trying to say. Blue studs. I want all the blue studs. I need R2 for this bit. But yeah, but easily the best part of those little Lego, of those little short films is Darth Vader. Darth Vader is hilarious in those little shorts. And there's one where the Emperor actually re-recruits Darth Maul. This was before that Clone Wars episode was made. Nope. And it's like, Darth Maul will first appear and he'll be singing his theme song and be going, bum bum, bum bum. Actually, bum bum. And then there's sort of be like a rivalry between Vader and Maul. And Darth Sidious is just getting annoyed at Vader and he's like, Darth Maul is back! But then Darth Maul sort of like tries to reconstruct a Death Star, which comes in its own floating box of Lego pieces. But he recreates it in a model of his own face, which does not impress Palpatine. And Vader comes back, he accidentally destroys it. I think he kills Darth Maul, or at least injures Darth Maul. And then it's like, Vader, you've destroyed my space station. You defeated Darth Maul. That's my boy. It's like, he doesn't quite say it quite like that, but he's like, he's really proud of Vader. He's like, yeah, that's what that's what somebody pure evil does. That's my boy. It's like Darth Vader is such a child. And General Grievous is pretty good in those as well. There's quite a few of them. I don't think I've seen them all though. But they are all really good. Right. There's a mini-kit there, and if... unless they moved it, which they have done for a few mini-kits in the complete saga. Yep, there's another one there. They ran out of locations. So, Vader's just gone. Let's just activate these. Oh, by the way, this is Palpatine. This is all he can do. He can jump. And there we go. He can't do anything else. No force abilities even after we finish the level. And on this TV screen, all of these white pieces of smoke are coming out as very purple. That includes like this, the jets from R2 and that smoke right there. It's all very purple on the TV screen. But I'm looking at the laptop, unlike the capture software, and it is white. Right, Mace Windu's got a new outfit, and the clone's got new helmets. That's just a thing. They just have new helmets. Which they get more new helmets, and then more new helmets. Boo! You're cool as the Emperor. Although in this game you're actually kind of annoying as the Emperor because every few seconds you have to keep going. And he does his laugh, and it's really irritating. I need to stretch the shoulders. Whoa, where'd this rain come from? We've had a week of mostly very hot weather. Now it's chucking it down outside. Anyway, I've got to stretch the shoulders, and after that, we're heading after General Grievous, and then we have what I would say is the most difficult level of the original trilogy. But it is made slightly easier here. So, I will see you guys then.